All right, welcome back. This is Dataset 2. This is the same information we had before, supplemented by some new information. We'll talk about where the new information comes from and what to do with it. With this video, I've got a specific goal in mind, and that is what I want to do is identify the simplest firms in this data set, and we'll talk about what that means in a second. But first, let's look at what is the new data, right? So total proved reserves is the combination of natural gas liquids, and oil. It uses a 6-to-1 ratio for natural gas to oil, which is pretty standard, right? So a new column that's computed. Also, a new column that is computed is total production. All right, what we're trying to do is figure out why there were so many blanks in the CompuStat data. Total production is the sum of these three blue columns, the natural gas production, natural gas liquid production, and oil production. When you look at the disclosure, one reason you don't get total production for a lot of companies is they're either disclosing total production like Adams Resources, or sometimes they're disclosing oil production per day like Hess, and sometimes they disclose both like Apache, right? Apache has both total and per day. In Apache's case, that total divided by 365 days equals that number. That's not strictly true if you go down to BP. Their total production does not equal their daily production times 365, but it's pretty close, and that's good enough. All right, so we've got that. The highlighted areas around Apache mean I used Apache as a check figure, so went to their annual report and calculated it. Columns BG, BH, and BI are all new columns. What these try to do is calculate revenue based on information given in supplemental disclosure. So in the last video we looked at average prices are given for natural gas liquids, and oil. And if you multiply those numbers by production for natural gas liquids, and oil, you get these revenue numbers. They're in millions, right? So took that revenue number in millions and went out here to create a new revenue number, which is revenue hydrocarbon check. All right, and what that is a comparison against the CompuStat annual report revenue number. And this is all an attempt to try to find simple companies, right? A company that makes sense would look like Apache, right? So here they are with multiplied out numbers that look almost identical to their reported financials. And so you think, great, here's a company that sells hydrocarbons, and we can kind of back in and support their revenue number. Created a percentage with this this column P divided by the revenue per the annual report. Close to 100% means this company sells hydrocarbons. Now you get a lot of zeros. Part of the reason you get zeros is the disclosure database contains not just upstream E&P companies that are out to find and sell oil and gas. It also includes refineries, right? So it's not necessarily a horrible thing to see zero. Company could be getting a lot of their money from a refinery. But in terms of looking at a pure company that should make a lot of sense, those around 100% are good. They should be as simple as anything. All right. Just mechanically, if you make insertions into this worksheet, what you want to do is copy your headings, because you're going to have new headings on the working data sheet, and then do a whole bunch of this, which is drag the formulas. All right, so drag the formulas out. You could drag them way out to the end here. All right, and they'll update automatically. Drag them down. They'll update automatically. There's a whole bunch of them. All right, so drag them down and find it. Good. All right, so Now we have automatic updates. The problem is all these numbers will float. So mechanically what we want to do is copy that, paste it special into this number. We want to paste the values, right? And if we paste the values, we could go back and get a pretty looking format to put here in this 3-year average column. Paste the new format, and now we could sort it. All right, so let's see, sort. We need sort by gov key, which is a unique identifier. We'll do that. All the non-average years we want to delete. And there are a bunch of those. All right, and if we delete them, voila, we should have 3-year averages. Can do the same thing with the 2011 file. Copy this, paste it special. We want to paste the values. We could go back and get the pretty heading and put it in 2011, and then sort this file by year, then gov key, largest to smallest. All right, so what that'll do is give us all the 2011s, and that gov key deal keeps everything in the same order, all right, which is important. So let's get rid of 2010 and 2009 because we're not interested in those. What we're going to do is compare the current year to like the average performance in the past. Delete those. All right, and now we have pure numbers, right? So the numbers won't float around by moving things. Let's see what we lost here. Maybe increase this a little bit. All right, let's take a pause here to answer my phone.